I'm sharing the screen right now, and I hope you could see that. Can you see the screen, Prashant sir? Right. Right. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to understand what are we going to learn in this lab. This lab is meant for understanding and to realize the electronic components together. When you bring it together, we get a circuit. For an instance, you cannot get an adder or a subtractor or something like that without having multiple gates and multiple other components brought in together. So we are going to build those kinds of electronic components. We will also test it. We are going to test if they are working fine, and most importantly, we will write software for it to be done. We do not have hardware components in our hand. So what do? We write code to build those electronic components. We write code to test that electronic components as well. It is going to be both with software. The first software that we are going to learn to use is iVerilog, and it's a freeware. Similarly, the next one that we are going to use is QtSpim. That's for MIPS. The first one is going to be for the fundamentals, where we will start understanding how do we build the smallest of the components, how do we test it. For example, the simplest of the adder, subtractor, multiplier. How do we go ahead with using all of them? How do we build a simple ALU? All these will be tested and it would be run with the initial iVerilog tool, whereas we are going to use the MIPS instructions clearly and we will run it through properly with the tool that we are going to use called as QtSpim. I am going to teach you through the installation process for both the tools, and we will run one of the exercises, simple exercises in both of these today, and then if you can get this successful in your machine, that's all. So once you install it, that's over for the day. We will go ahead with learning the constructs. We will go ahead with building the components a little later, step by step. I hope I'm audible and we can get into the content right away. So the right, perfect. The first thing that we need to learn is how do we install the iVerilog. iVerilog is a tool that's again a freeware. You can use that and it's very easy to use as well. There are multiple tools available for using Verilog, but this one is the most preferred because this is very easy and this has got a lot of connect with whatever you have learned already. Yes, the C programming is going to be very much useful here, and you can get a lot of connect with C programming when you are using this tool. And I'm going to show you how exactly we are downloading this, from where we are downloading this. All these will be easy to share. And you can see that this is the link that I'm using, bleyer.org. You need to do that parallelly. Please do it parallelly. If you are not able to do it, let me know where are you getting stuck. So once I complete the download, I'll install it and I will start working on it. So you can see that bleyer.org/icaras. This is the link, bleyer.org/icaras. In that there are multiple versions available, and what we are going to take up is the recent version that they have released. In the topmost one, you can see that I'm zooming it a bit. This is the one that you have to use. So download it please and keep it ready with your machine, and we need to install it. And any of this can be used, but the recent one has got the latest updates with multiple facilities more added to the previous version. So as usual, this is an upgrade from the previous version. So I prompt you to download the first one, and if you have already installed it, that's fine, you retain it. Otherwise, if it is a fresh installation, I prefer you downloading it. So now let's go into the downloader module. This is the symbol, you can see that here. I'm going to set it up right now. Just double click it. I think you will be able to see the screen. If not, I will show that installation as well. You can see that this is the way it will be downloaded, and you can double click and give next. That's a traditional installation process that you have to do. So please make sure you follow the same process as we do every time. Accept the agreement. Next, install it in the C drive provided you have space, otherwise move it to D drive or something. I have already installed it, so I'm not going to reinstall it. The same package I have installed it before I tested for the practice session. So I'm going to not install it. I am removing it, so I stop the process. This is the way we need to install it, is what I wanted to convey you, and it is done. Now once the installation is done, once it is all done, what you need to do is go to C drive, where you can see that there is something called as iVerilog available here. Can you all see that? If you have that, you need to see to iVerilog. and in that you can see bin gtk wave include install lib sample share. All this will be available, and inside that we have got bin, and here is where we are going to have all our code written and stored. I repeat, in C colon, because in C drive only I have installed it. In the C drive it will be available inside ivory log, and inside ivory log we have got something more called as bin. Bin is nothing but binary. So inside bin we will have our files written, and for example the first code that I want to show you is available here, which is nothing but hello world. We are going to see the hello world code, and I am sharing that as well right now. You can see that this is the code that we have made available for testing purpose. This doesn't do great job. This is just a hello world code. Don't ask me what is module, what is initial, begin and all. I'll explain you that step by step. But let's first install it clearly and see to that we are all done with the installation, so that we can start learning it and start using it with ease. This is the simple code that we need to keep it ready, and please use the extension .v. The name of the file has to be .v, and it must be kept, you have no options, it must be kept inside the C drive, inside ivory log, inside bin. You need to store it, and it is mandatory. So once you keep it, this is the code that I will also copy paste in your chat window, so that you can easily use it. Let me go ahead and do that right away. Sir Prashant sir, you will also be able to get it, I believe. Right. Right, sir. Notepad plus plus. So there is something called as Notepad plus plus. It is easy for us to use. So you can download just Google Notepad plus plus, sir. It will be available, or you can open it in Notepad also, no problem. Notepad plus plus will help me in appropriate indentation. It will be easy for me to do the indentation and all. So I prefer that, but otherwise you can use the previous one also. So this is a simple code where I have got a ma'am solunga. Oh, okay. No problem. I will post you that separately. No issues. I'll drop it, ma'am. No problem. Yeah. So the yeah. Please be loud. I am not able to hear you. Please be loud. The latest one, the topmost one, the latest one you should download. Just click that link, and I have also put it up in the chat window right now for you. So just go ahead and follow the same thing. I'll also mention the name of it again. The link of it I have shared now in the chat window. Okay, just select that, and the recent version you got to download, which is called as, I'll tell you the exact name. The name of the file would be as I have pasted in the chat window. You can take it up as what I have pasted in the chat window. It's the topmost recent version. The first version with 17 MB weight. It is as heavy as 17 MB. For the 64-bit architecture, you need to download. I have a 64-bit architecture laptop. That's sufficient for you as well. I believe most of you will have it. And this is for Windows and not for Linux. I'm not telling about Linux. This is for Windows version 11 2019-0809. That's the name of the version. So just download it and keep it ready. So once it is done, once it is all done, you need to type the code as what I have pasted in the chat window. This is the code that you need to use, and save it as .v file. .v is nothing but Verilog. .verilog. That's it. Small v, lowercase letters. Just save it. Once it is done, we need to go ahead and start our real work, and I'm going to show you how exactly to do that right now. You can try that out. I'll give you time, don't worry. You can try that out. I'm going to show you the installation process right now. So probably you can try it out a little later when I give you time. One second. Now I am going to share my command window. You are going to use command window, and quite a lot we will be using the DOS prompt. So please learn the fundamental DOS commands, otherwise it's going to be difficult. I'll use some of them right now, and it will be easy for you. Let me open the command prompt. I hope you can see my command prompt right now. And I am into the iVerilog, the folder, I mean the directory. And inside that, as you can see, there is no command of ls and all available here. It is only dir. When you want to display the content, it is dir. When you want to navigate, it is cd. When you want to go back, it is cd dot dot, cd space dot dot. If you want to go to a different directory, just type c space colon. That's all. That's enough. It will take you there. And inside this is what you have something called as bin. cd bin. So I am into bin, and cls is the command for clear. It is not clr or clear. It is cls here. Now inside that I type dir, and I will see that there is something called as hello.v. This hello.v is the file that I am going to use for running and compiling the code. I mean the hello.v is the one that I am going to compile right now. So there are two ways that you can compile. What is the way that, what is the procedure that we need to compile normally in our GCC or G++ or whatever we use with GNU? How do we do it? Very simple. We go ahead with the GCC file name, right? Same is the case I'm going to use here. I'm going to make it as, instead of GCC, I'll type the command iVerilog hello.v. That's all. The file is compiled right now. iVerilog hello.v is done, and it must have generated an executable file by name a.out. You can see that here it is generated as a.out, which is nothing but the final executable file. The time that I have generated the file is visible here. It is 29/7/2020 15/16. It is 15/17 right now. Just it has moved to 15/17. So this is the latest file. Now we have compiled the file. Remember, whatever I have done is just a compilation, and I have not yet run it. For the file to be executed, for the binary to be run, what we have generated is a final binary, and we need to run it. VVP is the command, VVP a dot out. That's all. Hello world by Sriram KV is printed. That's it. We have run the code, and we have got the output for the simple Verilog code, which I have shown you some time back for printing hello world. But is this the only procedure to use? Not necessarily. We can do it in another way also. How do we do it? Just like GCC, where we will go ahead with iVerilog -o. -o is object file, -o. I want to generate the name of the executable file as hello. And what is the name of the file that I'm using? hello.v. That's all. It's generated right now. dir, when I use, you can see that I have got a new file generated by name hello, and that hello is generated by 15/18, which is nothing but the current time right now. And I can run this code VVP hello, and you will see the output hello world by Sriram KV. That's it. So what did we do? Very simple. It's very easy actually. So I have compiled the file, and I have compiled the file to generate the final executable, and this is the procedure that I have used. You can follow it, that I have presented on the screen right now. Just navigate to the C drive, iVerilog bin. For that, we have got a couple of commands to be used. The first option that you have is iVerilog hello.v. When you do that, if there are no errors, you will get the a.out file created. And for running this a.out file, we need to use vvp a.out, and this is one option. The second option that you can use is, if you want to generate the executable file in the appropriate name, because you may have to use 3 or 4 files in the same folder. One could be add, one could be subtract. So in that case, you cannot have a.out multiple times. So only one a.out can be in the same directory. It cannot be having multiple a.out, and in that case it will be overwritten. The recent one only would be there. So to avoid that hiccups, so what we do is iVerilog -o. Hello is the name of the executable file, and hello.p. That's it. We have generated it. How many of you have installed it, and how many of you have got trouble in doing it? So you can see that we are going to use a tool called as Qtspim. What is it meant for? Very simple. It is meant out and out exclusively for running the MIPS code. That's all. I am going to run my MIPS instructions as assembly language codes with this Qtspim, and it's very easy to use. It's not at all tougher. Only thing is, you need to download, install. As I have told you earlier, for the iVerilog, you have got an installation procedure for it. These two software packages only we are going to use completely, right? And understand, it is all completely assembly language programming, as any other programming language. You must have learned a lot of programming languages in these stages. So like any other programming languages, this is also going to be easy for you only when you practice. This is like your embedded programming where you wrote assembly language code there, and this is exactly the same, but you are going to write the code with MIPS. Remember, we are going to use the instructions that we learned in the morning: the add, the sub, the mul, the load word, the store word. All those instructions are there, right? We are going to use the same here. There could be minor modifications from the theory to practical connect, but it is pretty easy for you to use. I'll make sure that you go with a smooth ride. So we will go with how to download it. Please make a note of the link that I have presented in front of you. I will try to copy paste it out there in the chat box. If you are not able to see it in the chat box, you need to probably go ahead with typing it out yourself and then download it. So this is the biggest problem here in this online sessions, where typing and copy pasting, all those are a bit of problems here. Let me find out where exactly our class is there. Right. So I have pasted it in the, I have pasted it. Just click and download it. It's quite a larger file. It might not be visible immediately. It will take time. It is quite a larger file. It's about, I think, a few hundred MBs. So make sure that you guys download it in parallel. Keep the download on and wait for my instructions once it is complete. Before that, I'll start telling you what it is and how do we use it as well. And one best thing about it is, you please start the download and listen to me, so that once the theoretical explanation is over, you can go back to using it. It's pretty simple. You see that it is free. It is distributed under BSD license, so it is absolutely free. And the best point about this QtSpim tool is, it is available for Windows, it is available for Linux, it is available for Mac. I tested Windows and Linux. It's amazing. In fact, Linux is a bit faster, I felt. So you can try it out for Windows if you have Windows machines, and keep both iVerilog and this together, because you cannot keep switching between operating systems. So I suggest you to keep it in the same OS. Now, once you download it, the installation is all available for you. Once you download it, you need to just install it, and we are going to understand one very fundamental point. There is nothing called as compilation here in this QtSpim. We are not going to compile at all. The moment you upload the code, it gets compiled. It checks for syntax, it checks for context, it does everything during the upload itself. So within seconds it will be done, and it's really very fast. Now how do we download it? Please go to this link and I'll show you the procedure right now. I have made a videograph of it. You can see that here. Please go to the link if you are finding it difficult. Sourceforge.net projects Spim Simulator files. The latest version for Windows is what I want. If you want Linux, you can select that 64-bit version which is available in front of you. Mac is also available. Now it is downloaded, and you can see that QtSpim, and it's 34, it's just 30 MB. I got confused. Yeah, just double click it, give next, accept the license, install it in the proper directory, and once it is done, the installation will be over in few seconds. Once it is done, you need to make sure that you got the icon in the desktop, because it is enabled, and these are all the two windows that you would get immediately the moment you launch it. Don't break your head as in what is it right now. I'll explain you. Now the left hand side window is all about register access, and the right hand side window is all about the system generated data. This is all system generated in the right hand side. The left hand side is all about the registers. Can we understand how do we test if it is working fine? We should understand that we've got a lot of options available also, but before that we will see how exactly we test if the installation is all proper. I'm going to show you that right now with a practical demo. I'm going to open my QtSpim out here, and you can understand the same. I'll share the screen and I will show you the QtSpim out here in my system. Can you see the screen here? It's QtSpim completely available here. And the left hand side content, this is all called as, this side is all called as the register area. Remember, in your Keel version 4 or 5, whatever we have used in the lab for the previous semester, we had the register listing available here, right? The same is the case here. All the registers, this is all accessible by you. Based on the code that you are running, this will all work, and this is fundamentally connected to the results of the operation that you are doing. All the registers will be updated based on the results that you have got here, and this is the region where you can test your results. So you can see that all the registers are available here. In the morning session, I told you about S0 to S7 registers, right? T0 to T7 registers, right? So these are all temporary registers. These are all the permanent registers which you will use for the final results being stored, and T0, S0 are available. And we have got couple of more registers in T here, T8 and T9, which we will explore a little later, not now. So this is the way you can analyze. The program counter is available here. Similarly, we have got return address available here, stack pointer available here. So all these are the registers that we are going to use explicitly. And sir, what is this, sir? I do not know what is it. Don't worry about it. All these are generated by the simulator. All these are 100% generated by the simulator, and you need not worry much about it. It is out and out simulator generated code, and you can start going through it once you get a lot of familiarity with this tool and the simulator, and you can understand this, the way it is working, all those things. But for now, don't worry about it. Now in this tool, I've got multiple options available here. This is called file, where you will load the file. Your code, the assembly language code, should be loaded from here. So when you click load file, it will open the complete directory structure, and wherever you want you can select it. And by default, there is one file which is made available for us to test it. It is called the Hello World program, as usual. So I'm going to show you that screen also right now, so that you can understand how exactly this is working. The problem here is sharing everything is a huge deal. One second. Can you see the screen now, all of you? Do you see the screen where I am loading things? Right? So what do we do is very simple. I go to file. In the file, you click load, and in that, if you can see that the path is available here, the windows, inside that the program files, inside that the QtSpim. And the moment you click QtSpim, you will get the help, image formats, platforms, and SQL drivers. We are not going to use all those. Just click on hello world.s. Open it. The moment you open it, you will get the executable button here. You can see that here the executable button, and you will get the result out here as hello world. I do not know if you can see that. If you are not seeing it, I will show it right away. You can see that the console is open right now, and you are getting the result hello world here. This is the way we are testing if the installation is proper. I'll repeat it. I'm going to repeat the process. Please follow it carefully. This is the screen that we get the moment we launch our QtSpim tool. And once you launch it, please go to file, go to load file. You need to go to C drive. C drive is where we have it. And inside that program file is x86. And inside that we have got something called as QtSpim. That's what we have installed. And they have got a hello world file for us to test it. We can test it, and don't worry about what is written in the code. I'll explain you that we need to learn a lot to do that. So just click that and click open. That's it. You can run the code by clicking this button. This button is called run button. I'll explain you all the buttons, by the way. Just click this run button. The moment you click this run button, you should be able to get the output, and the output is nothing but the console output which you will get. And that console output is what I have shown you some time back, where we had completely displaying the content as hello world. Now this tool has got some issues. I'll tell you what. Every time when you load a new code, you must go ahead and reinitialize the simulator, which means all the register values should be reloaded or reset to 0. Otherwise, you will get some error messages, you will get some disturbances there in terms of using the tool, which you must definitely avoid. So what do we do? The first option is to load the files. The second option is to click the recent files which are available, and you can get the list of files which are available here to be selected, and reinitialize and load. This will reinitialize everything and then load. When you click it, it will automatically reinitialize everything, and it will load that, and you can connect it this way. So now see that all the registers should be at 0, and this is the reinitialized value for the registers that we are using. When you click the text, when you click the run button only, that should be giving you the output. The values will be updated only then. Till then you will have to wait. Please make sure that you are clearing the registers. That's the most important thing. In the simulator, I have got clear register options. Sir, my code is not working, sir. Though I have got everything right, it is not working. Registers are not updated. Just click this clear register option once. Reinitialize simulator will reinitialize everything, and then we have got options to run, pause and stop. I have got the buttons here: run, pause, stop. This run is going to help me in running the code whatever I have typed. Pause is going to help me in pausing the operation. I will pause it all, then stop. Now I go to registers. Whatever data I am giving has to be updated here. If you are operating with binary data, you need to give it as binary. If you are operating with hexadecimal data, select it as hexadecimal, otherwise decimal. If this is selected wrongly, it is not going to work. Remember, this is very important. This has to be updated properly. Now, what is this, sir? User text, kernel text, comments, and instruction value. Don't worry about it. When we go deeper into it, I'll explain you. This data segment is going to talk about where the data is going to be stored, what is the kernel data that is going to be available. We'll discuss that later. And whenever you want the contents to be displayed, you can display it this way. Go to window. If you want text segment to be displayed, you can display that. If you want, you can disable, enable. All this can be done easily here. Click that, you will get the text segment clearly. So this is going to give you all the register details available. You can see that floating point registers are all removed right now because I didn't want it. The moment I click FP registers, I will get that FP registers as well. This is floating point registers. We are not going to use it right now. So we are going to use only this. So please see to the windows if all the options are ticked properly. Only then you will be able to see the results. It's very important. You must have integer registers. You must have text and data segment and console for sure. If this is not done, you may not be getting the complete results as you want. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinitialize the simulator. I will open and load one of the recent files that I have run yesterday. So div.asm. Oh, it's not in the same path. I'll try to open it. Wait, load file. I am getting into my drive. I'll just show you a simple example. Don't worry how I do it. It's very easy to be done. And I can help you out in learning this a little later, not now though. Let me open the file 1 second. Inside this, I am selecting the file. I have loaded a file that is for simple multiplication operation or something. So yeah, I have selected the multiplication operation. You can see that once I do it, the file is loaded right now. All the registers are set to default. All the registers are set to default. The file that I have used, I will show you what is that. I have selected a file called multiplication operation, multiplication with no overflow, that I have selected. And if you have Visual Studio, the files can by default, all the ASM files whatever we are having here by default can be opened with it, but I prefer you to open it with this thing, I mean the Notepad++, because it is easy for you to open immediately. So I will show you the code that I have written, but I'll explain you the code later. I'll just show you the code for you to understand that this is what we have been running through. Now this is the code that I have used. What is this text? What is this global? I'll tell you. Wait. Now I have used couple of instructions here, load T1 and T2, and I have used the multiplication instruction MUL. I multiplied these two and I moved the result to T0, and then I did an exit. This is an exit button. I'll talk about it later. How why 10, sir? 10 is the code. I'll talk about it all later. Now this is the way we need to start it. Start the assembly language coding. This has to start with .text, and this is my main code. Inside that I have moved the value 2 and 3, I multiplied it. So I need to get the result as 6. 6 is what I expect as the result right now, and we will see if we are able to get the result as expected. I have loaded it already. Now you can see that I have got no values available in the T0, T1 registers. I am running it. You can see that now that the results are available with you. T1 and T2 have got 2 and 3. The result is moved to 6, and that's it. This is the way we are going to test with the assembly language code whatever we are writing throughout this semester with this tool. This tool is meant for writing and testing your assembly language code. That tool, whatever we have seen, the iVerilog tool, is meant for writing the iVerilog code and to test it. Both are easy to use, both are freeware, and both are available in multiple versions for Ubuntu, I mean for Windows and Linux. I have installed it in Windows and I have tested it. Now I give you time of about 10 minutes for you to install this tool and see if you are getting the output. How do you test it, sir? Very simple. Go to load file, go to the C drive or D drive wherever you have installed it. Inside that, go to program files x86. Inside that you will have something called as qtspim, and there select the hello world.s file, run it and see if you are getting the console output as hello world. If you do that, that's all, your work is done, and you let me know once it is done. I'll wait for 5 to 10 minutes. It's now 15:44 in my machine, so I'll wait till 15:53. Please go ahead and do it. If you have queries, you let me know.